Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. What would you think are the two most common words that Christians use when they're in a panic or in a crisis? Do something. Do something, Lord. It's absolutely against human nature to stand still and do nothing when there's a crisis and there's trouble and difficulty on all hands. And probably the most difficult thing for even Christians is to stand still and wait for God to act. To stand still to see the salvation of the Lord. Even the most devoted of Christians panic when God doesn't move according to their time schedule. We're always giving God dates. We're always giving him a time limit. Lord, if you don't do it by now or by tomorrow or by next week, it's too late. God is never too late, and he's going to do it not on your schedule, not on mine. He's going to do it on his own schedule. But God is always and has always been searching the earth for those who will trust him in their crisis, in every trial, and especially when it seems hopeless. And he will lead us, listen closely, he will lead us into situations that are alarming, that are critical, that seem hopeless, to test us. The devil has nothing to do with it at all. It's God leading into the crisis. The Bible states fairly clearly, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, Psalms 37:23. And that in Hebrew is prearranged, step by step, fixed, ordained by God. I'm going to tell you something. I believe that every step that I take is prearranged by my Father. Every step that I take is ordered by the Lord. Now, if I believe that, if I'm in a crisis, if I'm in a very, very difficult situation, he's led me there. Because he doesn't stop for a moment while he says, well, you're about to go into a trial. I direct you up to this point. You're on your own now. He directs me into it, through it, and out of it. The steps of a good man, and we are good only by the blood of Jesus anyhow. There's no goodness in us. A good man made righteous through the blood of Jesus Christ is her steps ordered by the Lord. God's Word is filled with examples of this. And by the way, it's hard to accept. Think about it for a minute. It's very, very hard to accept this concept that the most difficult, critical times in your life have been prearranged by the Lord. That they are His doing. And folks, when you begin to see that and accept it and understand it, then you're halfway through your problem.
All right. Thank you for coming to hang out with Proverbs Guys Ministries. I hope you guys are all having a really great day so far, and not just till now. I hope you have a good day for the rest of the day too, because it wouldn't be any good to have a good day until now and then get home and your day is terrible because you're not going to think about all the good stuff that happened. You're only going to dwell on. But that's besides the point, and that is the brain of ADHD. I want to do a Q&A tonight. So open panel. Everyone's welcome to come on and ask your questions, and we'll try to come up with some biblical answers for you. I'm hoping to get some really good, unique questions and not the basic kind of trolley ones that you sometimes get. But hey, we'll see how it goes. I do have two short videos that I want to share with you guys that I think is really relevant for the times. And also, it's going to kind of be a buffer for me while I'm up here alone, waiting on people to show up for the live panel Q&A. I'm going to share this video with you guys, and the reason I think this first one is relevant is because it has to do with the papacy. It has to do with the new pope, and the Catholic Church is able to hold up this artificial throne for the pope on the basis that he is the legitimate heir to the papacy, and he is the chosen chronological descendant from Peter. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that they are all blood related. They don't claim to be related to Peter by DNA, but they do claim to be the successors of Peter. They believe that the papacy has been given to Peter on the authority of Jesus Christ, and that Peter passed it down, and it's been passed down ever since up until this very day. Now, there's some big issues with that. And the biggest issue with that is the fact that there have been so many filthy popes. And I'm not just being ugly, but I mean there have been some terrible popes. And that's what this short video is going to explain. We're going to walk down the history of some of these popes. And you tell me if you think that this is something the Holy Spirit has inspired and entrusted its power to. I would have to say no. But let's go ahead and share this. All right, I will pop this up on screen. We will reverse these two roles, and up, and away.
Hey, here's something you shouldn't have to say when you're talking about a Christian denomination. This might not be appropriate for the little kids. With that warning, why would we spend time talking about the tawdry history of the papacy? It is because of the claims of the Roman Catholic Church that the Pope, descending all the way from Peter to modern day, they are the vicar of Christ on earth. These should be the godliest of the godly. But what we see throughout church history, that is simply not the case, which should call into question, is this really an unbroken line of ascension of popes that I need to bow to in order to be a member of the Catholic Church, in order to be a member of the kingdom of God? Let's tackle the history, shall we? The year 366, Saint Damascus, he was the first bishop of Rome to accept the title pontiff, and a lot of people opposed him, and no less than 160 of his adversaries were found dead in their precincts. He was titled Oriscalpius, that's a name for your next child, Oriscalpius Matronarum, ladies' ear scratcher. Wonder what he was up to. 432, Sixtus III, accused of debauching a virgin, but in fairness, he was found innocent, but he was also the judge of his own case, because he said the judge of all ought not to be judged by anybody. 955, Pope John the X11 was a violent fellow, turning the Vatican, frankly, into a brothel. He drank toasts to the devil. When gambling, he invoked pagan gods and goddesses. He ended up being killed by a jealous husband while in the act of committing adultery with the man's wife. And you thought Game of Thrones was zesty. He was just 18 when he became the Pope.
And I just want to remind you guys, right? These are popes. These stories that you're hearing about the men who have already pardoned themselves from forced SA and invoking demons and pagan gods and all of this is popes. We're not just talking about priests. Like, these are the vicars of Christ according to the Catholic Church. These are the people on earth who represent Jesus' authority. So it's laughable. Hello, 21st century psalmist.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we do. We hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. And Brother Achilles is here, and Dan, the man with the plan, is in the comment section. Wow, everybody showed up. What's up, guys?
Hello, everyone. I didn't know we were live.
Yeah, I went live 13 minutes ago.
All right. Okay, I turned off the news. Let me get me some picture over here. I need an avatar. Where am I
I'm glad
going
you
then?
came in with your camera off, Achilles.
Yeah. Good thing there.
No, I thought this video was a really cool, relevant one to watch since we just had the appointment of a new pope. And this is that short video we watched before where Todd goes through the history of some of the more devious popes.
Yeah, I remember. Let me try something. Let me
Okay.
try this GIF. It doesn't work. Okay, it takes it as a picture. Okay, it's a GIF. It allows me to choose it, but it won't play it.
So what you'll have to do is you will upload that GIF as a virtual background and then close your camera lens, but turn the camera on.
Okay, so it works that way.
Yep.
Okay. All right. First off, you can go ahead and continue this, and we'll talk later.
All
I've
right. Yeah, so we'll let it play through a couple, but if anything really jumps out at you guys, just say pause, pause.
Hello, Shish.
Hello, Brother
There are
Achilles. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Finished one third
collection
of my work. Resting. I can't go in the second one yet.
I am 19 minutes into number 1, by the way, and it's an hour and 30 something minutes long, so I have a good dent in it, and I'm going to finish it today.
Well, thank you. Good luck with it.
I was really worried that something was wrong with my computer because the audio wasn't working for like 5 minutes, but it was the way the video was.
Yeah. On the second one, it starts immediately with music, so you will know you have audio there.
Okay, cool.
Knowing
Alright,
Achilles, it will probably be pretty good music.
I don't make the music. I just, Linkin Park does.
Yep.
All right, you guys stop me when you hear something crazy, which will be a lot.
Of church writings, leaders who said he was terrible, invoking demons, murdering, mutilating, committing arson, gambling, and turning the Vatican into a, this is their word, whorehouse by committing adultery with numerous women, including 2 widows and his own niece, as well as his father's long-term girlfriend. In 1003, Pope Sylvester the II was murdered by his successor, Pope John the XV11. 7 months later, John was poisoned. Pope Benedict VIII reigned from 1012 to 1024. He liked to keep himself a private force of Pope's men, known for torture, maimings, murder. The Pope himself personally ordered many assassinations. He kind of dug cutting the tongues out of living men, and he had a reputation for bloodlust. When Pope Benedict VIII died, his brother seized power and became Pope John the 19th. He had himself ordained a priest, consecrated as a bishop, and crowned as pope, all in the same day. Really? We're supposed to?
All right, hold on. All right, so wait. The Catholics want us to believe that in this line of succession from Peter to now, all of the popes were vicars of Christ, representatives of Jesus here on earth. And they have so far committed murder, adultery, witchcraft, gambling, torture, and incest. Am I missing anything?
You're definitely missing something. I mean, they have secrets too. Those are the out in the open ones.
You're right. These are just the things we caught. Good point. Good observation.
Oh, man.
Woo. All right, guys. Well, just so you know, these are obviously not Holy Spirit appointed vicars of Christ. But if you didn't know that, you should know that now.
To believe that this is an unbroken line of succession. Pope Benedict the Ninth reigned from 1032 to 1045. He became pope through bribery. He liked to spend intimate time with men, women, and animals.
That's nasty. I'm gonna go throw up.
He gave orders for people to be murdered. He practiced witchcraft and Satanism. Rome, the people who dwelt there, hated him so much on 2 occasions. He had to skedaddle from Rome to save his own life. And Benedict sold the papacy then to Pope Gregory VI. Benedict filled the palace with prostitutes. Pope Victor III wrote of Benedict IX's rapes, murders, other unspeakable acts. His life as a pope was so vile, so foul, that I shudder to think of it, wrote one pope about another pope. Saint Peter Damian described this bad boy as feasting on immorality and a demon from hell in the disguise of a priest, saying that this pope sponsored orgies and even routinely partook in bestiality. Pope Alexander VI, 1492, known for murder, bribery, simony, which was constant, the selling of offices named after Simon Magus. He was grossly licentious. On one occasion, he required 50 prostitutes to dance sans clothing before him and to, well, do what you do in that sort of environment. He had cardinals killed so that he could confiscate their property, sell their possessions to ambitious men. Now, today, the Catholic Church claims, hold on, those legends are grossly exaggerated. And to be fair, this particular pope loved his children. He loved them so much that he slept with his daughter and her 2 brothers.
What's wrong with you people?
He also had 4 children, scores of mistresses, including a 15-year-old who later bore him more children. Yeah, he loved his children indeed. Pope Julius II, 1503, he enjoyed the company of several mistresses, bearing at least 1 illegitimate daughter. That's a papal no-no. In 1511, a council brought charges of lewd sexual acts against him, calling him, quote, a sodomite, covered with shameful ulcers. He had monkeypox, apparently, all the way back then. Better get Fauci on that one. That is the history of the papacy. Is it tawdry? Yes. Was every pope that bad? No. But it absolutely calls into question whether or not Roman Catholics should view the office of the papacy as an unbroken line of successors from Pope Peter. I think this alone demands that we answer that question with a big fat negatory. Very good.
All right. So, in case you guys were not struggling with it before, don't believe in the papacy.
I was just thinking that, not every pope was like that, but I think the reason for that is that it used to be way easier to hide a secret. Today, it's not like things are transparent, way more than what it used to be. So
That's true. And to be fair, there were a lot more popes who probably were great, upstanding, decent men. However, this proves that it is not a broken line of authority of infallible men. A lot of them were devious monsters, child molesters, rapists, orgies, homosexuality, sodomy, murder, like the worst of the worst crimes. And they did it as the Pope. So that should give our Catholic friends something to think about.
John MacArthur on Grace to You channel uploaded, well, it's not him, it's his team, uploaded one of his older sermons about the idolatry of Mary worship.
Mm-hmm.
And although I've heard other lectures of his and of others concerning the issue, I like this one a lot. It is on his latest uploads. And he starts by saying that it's not like the worst thing that exists. And he started talking about the Rastafari. Because they're worshiping somebody who called himself the Lord of Lords and Melchizedek and the second coming of Christ, and he will come back again. And they have created this sect of Christianity, which is not, I didn't know that about the Rastafari, that they are reading the Bible, and they're like King James onlyists too. But wherever they read about Christ, they think of their Rastafari. That's where the name comes from that somebody from Nigeria, I think it was. So anyway, after he gives a lot of information about that, which I didn't know, then he says that they are praying, they are smoking, and they are praying to somebody who is in hell, because he claimed to be Lord of Lords, you know. But it's not, it is the same with those that are praying to people that are in heaven. And that's how he started talking about Mary. So, rounding this up, why I said it is it doesn't matter where we are approaching the subject of Catholicism from this side with the video that Stephen played. And some people can come out and defend this side and say, well, no, you know, he didn't do that, or not all the popes are the same. But the concept of Catholicism is everywhere false. It is not Christianity in its doctrines, in its worship, and in calling themselves vicars of Christ. There's like, what more do you guys want? I mean, I can hear people saying, I started out as a Catholic. I love hearing that, because we all start somewhere. I started as an Orthodox. But those that defend it, get real, guys. This is completely undefendable. What are you doing?
I think the video you're talking about comes from a series on Catholicism that he did, and there are some of the best videos that you could hear on the subject of the Catholic Church from John MacArthur. He does one on Mary worship. He does one on the Mass. He does one on the what is it, substantiation? I butchered that all to heck.
Okay, but I do think, yes, he uploaded 3 videos that are like the same thumbnail, and yeah, they look like they belong in some series. So
Yes, awesome series. You need to go see all of them. I think there was like 5 total.
and Orthodoxy is also guilty of all of those except the Vicar of Christ. I mean, this is where the schism has happened. That's it. Everything else, we're fine. But that, no. No.
Which does make me feel good because it means that the Orthodox Church was not comfortable going far past their heresies. Because what the Catholics did with the Pope, the Vicar of Christ, they went straight into blasphemy. And the Orthodox Church was smart enough to stay away from the blasphemy and just hang out in their heresy.
But the way I see this is that it's like the line that you shouldn't cross is like where the water hits the shore. That is where the line is. If you want to go further back and say, I draw my line here, well, that's your line. But that's not, the line of being true to the gospel. So, yeah, they drew their line at some place, but it's still up in the mountains. So,
Yeah, but I think that the Orthodox have a lot less that they would have to shed themselves of to get good into the faith, whereas the Catholics, they've gone so far out, they would almost completely have to start from scratch.
all right, just so we have some debate about this. Other than the zeal that the Orthodox people have, and maybe some monks, which you shouldn't be a monk, but they do have a zeal. So other than that, what is the difference between the Catholic Church and the Orthodox Church? What can you bring me another difference other than not having a supposed representative of Christ on the earth?
I think in one way it's because, in my opinion, the Catholics make much, much more anathemas than the Orthodox Church. Like in Catholicism, if you believe any differently from their many, many, many more dogmas, you're anathema. You're damned. I think the Orthodox Church leaves more room where they're willing to chop a lot more up to it as, what do they always say? It's a mystery.
Yeah, I told you recently, I think that the last thing that freaked me out was that I heard an Orthodox priest saying these two little things. Oh, I told Sandman. I found Sandman at some point in Gigi's channel and I got in just to tell him that. And I'm not sure I told you. He said that we know that Mary was in the Last Supper. And the reporter asked, how do we know that? And I was like, thank you, reporter. Thank you. Thank you for that question. Yes. How do we know that? And he said, tradition. Tradition tells us that Mary was there. And I'm like, I want to slap that out of you. And then he said, Jesus Christ did not die for our sins. This is something that American churches has brought to the faith. And the reporter is like, oh, why did he die then? And he said, to show love, to show us how much he loves us. So hard for me to not be mad at Orthodoxy. I don't see anything actually different. I see what you're saying about the anathema. I think they're not doing it officially. They're not going to anathematizo, it's in Greek.
Anathematize in English.
Anathematize. Okay. So they're not going to do it publicly so often. But
which is really wise if you're trying to get your denomination to grow.
they'll do it behind your back, though. You know, tell everybody about you.
Yeah. Okay.
Plus, as I told you a long time ago when we first were discussing this issue, if you are a Baptist or a Pentecostal in Greece, you are considered a heretic. And because it is the state religion in Greece, Orthodoxy is the state religion, the cemeteries belong to the state. And if you're not an Orthodox, you can't get in the cemetery if you die.
Hey, brother, give me just a second. We have a guest backstage
Yeah,
by the letter R.
Yeah, so
AR. Can you give us a hello so we know who you are?
we're waiting.
Hello.
I came in as a guest, so I can't kick him out. I would have already, but
you can't?
No, I can come back in, but it's okay. I got you.
All right. So yeah, I guess other than those two key points, though, there is no other real difference, is there?
Which made me realize recently that Greece had been occupied from Turkey for the Ottomans for 400 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it started in the 1400s. And I started realizing, when was it that we turned the truth of Christianity into Mary worship? Because it had started already. And I realized at some point that this is why. Just like when the Israelites were loving other gods, some nations around them were destined by God to occupy them. So in 1821, we united under the cross. and we put the cross on the flag, and we did a revolution, and we kicked the Ottomans off with the help of some nations around us. It wasn't just, it was Russia, England, and I think France too. And then we went back to Mary worship. And then we wonder why you see things like those that you're going to watch in my video. We have leaders completely like traitors. They're not leaders, they're traitors in every level. So I wanna find out when was the first time that, like, we started saying, "Oh Mary." I think it was somewhere around the 5th century. It was
Well,
Latin.
the Muslims revere Mary also. She's actually the only woman named in the Quran.
Well, still, she was a saint, and she's definitely in heaven. But that doesn't mean that she hears our prayers.
No, absolutely not. And you're right, but the Mary worship has got way worse in the last 20 years than it was before then.
Yep. And before I meet you guys, I've been going around Orthodox groups, and every time you start like questioning the Mary worship, oh man, they're blocking you off. It's like no matter what, Mary is protecting us. Mary is protecting the country. Oh, is that why the country is going like, to shit? Well, she has a plan.
They really do talk about her like she's God. Go ahead, hon.
I know. Krista, we can't hear you. Wow, so many comments there. What is going on outside?
We've had like 12, 13 people watching at one time.
And we have this new fake account called Falia.
Yeah. I don't know who it is. I have a feeling it's the person who tried to come in backstage earlier with the name R, which would lead me to believe that it's a troll.
I'm reading Christian's comment. Hello, Christian. And okay, I think I caught up. Hello, Dan.
Well, I do have another video that I was going to share that we can comment on.
Shoot.
This one is about the Trinity in the Old Testament. The only thing I hate about it is that it's Sam Shimon, who was Orthodox and recently went Catholic.
Oh,
but the presentation was good. Yeah, he degraded. He stepped back, Achilles.
Right.
All right, let me share this.
So really, what we have today is the world being run by the Christian world. I don't want to say the Christian world. I want to say the Western civilization world is being completely led astray by these two sects. Because that's what they are. They're sects.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, just like it used to be when the Byzantine Empire existed, the Byzantine Empire had all the eastern side and the Catholic Church had all the western side. And it hasn't changed. like Russia, Greece, Armenia, Serbia, all the Egyptian Christian nations, not nations, groups. Ethiopia, all that is Orthodox. Like all this side of the world is Orthodox, and all the other side of the world is Catholics. I mean, thankfully, not all, but
A big portion.
man, yeah,
Yeah, you're not lying, man. Uh, and the thing is the Baptists used to have more pull, but the Baptist has really fragmented itself now. You have the First Baptist, the Second Baptist, Third Baptist, Fourth Baptist. You got the Independent Fundamental Baptist. Then you have the New Independent Fundamental Baptist. Like, they've sectioned themselves off so much that they don't have enough unity to have the same pull they used to. And they were really crucial for maintaining decent doctrine in the churches.
yeah,
And now there's very little working together with the Baptist and Pentecostal groups like there was, 15, 20 years ago, because the Pentecostals got really deep into spiritualism, and a lot of the Baptist groups got into work-based salvation. And it's really sad because now it just leaves the Catholics and Orthodox who are more than willing to work together.
yep.
So
And
it's,
they're saying we are the first church, and if you are outside of us, the gates of hell will prevail upon you. You know.
yeah, we are the church.
Yeah.
No, I'm part of the church. No, we are the church, the Catholic Church. No, the Bible says that we are the church. By whose authority? By whose
Yeah.
authority do you have? The Catholic Church. Like,
Well, I've had the hands of my priest on my back, and like he gave me the chrism, and now I'm like, yeah. Go ahead with the video, man. Let's
yeah.
just.
All right, my bad.
Always read 18, because here one of the three men is Yahweh, and he eats human food. You got to know this. Here, let's look at it. Then Yahweh appeared to him by the oaks of Mamre while he was sitting at the tent door in the heat of the day. And he lifted up his eyes and looked. Behold, three men were standing nearby. Three men he saw, and he ran from the tent door to meet them. And he bowed himself to the earth and he said, my Lord. Now, again, here's where people get confused. The word my Lord doesn't mean he recognized they were heavenly beings, that it was Yahweh and two angels, because it was the custom. This is a fact. It was ancient custom that when strangers visit your city and you're the judge of the city, that you would go and be polite and invoke them to stay and show them hospitality. Because at this point, Abraham still doesn't know who these three men are. He doesn't know. Later, he's going to figure it out. So don't be confused. And how do I know this? Because if you go to Genesis 19, which I'll show you in a minute, verses 1 to 3, when the two men showed up who were angels, Lot did not know they were angels. And he did the same thing. He bowed to them and called them my Lord. And he goes, come and stay with me. Let me give you hospitality. This was ancient Near Eastern custom. Like when Jacob bowed before Esau or Abraham bowed before the Canaanites. This was what we call an Oriental, ancient Near Eastern custom to show respect. And when you were the judge of a place, a ruler, like Lot, who was at the city gate, and this is confirmed by archaeology. Don't take my word for it. Get a good commentary with the archaeological background confirming this. Those who stood at the gates were the judges and rulers of the city, and they would go at the gate because that's where you would know to find a judge to then bring your complaints or legal problems to. You understand? In ancient Near Eastern cultures, cities had gates, walls and gates, and you would go and meet with the judges and rulers for legal matters, for issues.
Achilles,
Yep.
we should be watching your video right now.
What? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Why not? Even if we have to do it in parts.
Um, go ahead. I would say continue with this, and we'll tell people where to go if they want to watch it, because um, it is not the subject of this channel. That's my only issue.
The
But
Antichrist is a biblical concept.
yeah, I get into the deeper reasons of what has happened and why at the third part. For the beginning, the first part is um, like reporting what happened, what they've done, and it's absurd, but it still doesn't relate to Christianity yet. Like it's 1 hour and a half of reporting of tragic things that have taken place.
Sad things.
Very sad, yes. So I don't know. Just continue with this. I love the story.
Well, I already shut it off because it goes on for 25 minutes, and it wasn't the video that I thought it was.
Ah, okay.
So we have just open panel time since you don't want to watch your video. But guys, I strongly encourage you, go watch the video. Find Achilles 7 YouTube channel at Achilles 7
At YouTube.
at YouTube. And then go find, first of all, start in the playlist 2016. But you could also jump right up to here.
There is a high chance there's gonna be something crazy taking place tonight. Kinda relates to the narrative, but it's not like, I don't know. Eurovision is on. All the
No, not again.
all the blasphemies are taking place right now.
Have they
Uh,
had any yet?
I This year I haven't even watched a single minute of it. Like I don't,
Because you don't have time to make another video.
and yeah, I no longer care. I'm like I don't I don't care anymore. Like to see what and expose what. Like if people don't see how Satan is taking this world to the worst it has ever been. But what is happening is that there is the Greek song is good. It talks about the Armenian and Greek genocide. The girl is dressed, which is very surprising for Eurovision. She like
Yeah.
she has clothes. And people are like, "What are these? What do you do with those?"
Wear
Um,
them, you imbecile.
yeah, and I would be surprised if we win, but it still falls in the agenda of why we would win, because this year is a weird year. So unfortunately, things are unraveling. All right. So what Steven said to go to playlist 2016 is the truth is that to get a grip of where we are, you should start there. But the current video that I uploaded has to do with an accident that took place in Greece. And it was not an accident. It is way deeper than that. So deep that it has taken me a 3-part long, 2-hour long each video in 2023 to explain only what happened then, and now I'm in the same process of explaining what happened 2 years later, which I wouldn't know where to start, man. I wouldn't know where to start. And the thing is that if we play that video here, if somebody just watches 2 minutes and then he goes off to go get a coffee, and while they have control and they can pause it and they can return to it, it is easier. It is better to understand. If we just play it here, um, it's like you can't even make that stuff up, man. Like what we're seeing now in the picture, all this dirt that you see on the back,
Yeah.
they removed it from the area within 3 days of the accident. The reason they did that was to hide the spill of the materials that they shouldn't be on the train, because there was a huge explosion. But as they dug the ground up, they also picked up body parts. And they dumped the dirt in a private area that belongs to the train company.
What was their, obviously that they did it to cover it up, but what was their reasoning that they gave?
They have given conflicting responses. They said that we had to cement the area because the gas pipe is underneath,
Mm-hmm.
and the big cranes could crack the pipe. Okay, if that's the case, why did you dug out 3,000 square feet of dirt if the gas pipe was underneath? So they're giving different excuses, and they contradict each other all the time. And we're not going to see people go to jail. We should, but we won't. All right, press play, or let me get my coffee. We'll be right back.
I knew we would get him to engage. So, we'll play this until he returns.
Hello, sis. Hey, did you see?
No, because I was on another screen.
Okay, she left.
If I
You
can
didn't
just
get-
be honest with you.
You didn't pay attention to your own wife, and she left the room.
Well, she is going to beat me up, but that's okay. So this isn't this your former president?
I wish he was former. He's the current president.
But this isn't the main guy you dislike.
He works for him.
Okay. So
They
he's
all work.
basically his appointee.
Of the other party, but this guy is like the one he left responsible for destroying this country as that one is moving on, you know? So the things that have happened during this presidency of this guy is like the only, you can ask any Greek you can find. The only word that can describe his presidency is curse. Like, we've seen everything. We've seen fires, we've seen half the country flood underwater, we've seen accidents, tragedies. Like, and he was known for Mr. Bad Luck.
This is
So
the one you said every time he visits somewhere,
right,
a
right.
tragedy happens.
That's the one. Yeah, and I just think that they created that narrative, and then they're making them happen, and they're like, oh, could be bad luck. Who knows? Could be us selling the whole country to solar panels or wind turbines, or bad luck.
You know, politics, there used to be some dignity left in it, and there's just not anymore. It's a puppet show.
And it's worldwide.
Yeah, every country's government is a joke now.
And the only way for somebody to escape this world with the rapture, or even mentally before the rapture happens, is to understand that this is a realm that is controlled by Satan, and he's using money to do it. So when you see somebody that is very working not for yourself but for the money, that's not an excuse, because the Bible tells us the root of all evil is money. And it also says that you cannot serve God and money at the same time. And that matters because it doesn't say you can't serve God and Satan at the same time. It compares God to money. So the love for money is the root of all evil. And who said they're not doing it for money? But they will put the money over you. But they are not saying that in their election campaign. They're never saying that. Anyway,
Money is the driving force of American politics too, so don't feel bad, Achilles.
yeah, I'm just I have my ticket, and I'm just waiting for the ride. That's all I'm that's the only thing I'm looking forward from this world, is the way out of here. That's all. The rapture.
Well, we're at a place 10 years ago and back, Americans were at a place where our culture would shift to the liberal side and then sway back to the conservative side. And it would take about 7 years to sway back and forth, so that by the time a president finished 2 terms, typically the nation was ready for a president of the other party. But now the parties suck so bad, both of them, and all the candidates are so terrible for so long, we're switching to a 1 term presidency. It doesn't even take one full presidential term before Americans are tired of the direction and wanting to go the other way. So we're headed down a bad path. Statistically, that means we're a lot closer to civil unrest with one another.
It's like the pendulum that, when it's about to go to stop, the distance is shorter, you know? Like,
Exactly. And once it stops, it's chaos. And we're almost there.
and I wouldn't the very funny thing with the US and the people of the US is that if you try to talk about some subject, whatever that subject may be, people have been programmed to label you left or right. Like, if I bring up the colorful agenda, immediately in their mind, I'm right winged. You see what I'm saying? If I bring some other subject, I'm immediately left winged. And they're not even listening to you.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
by the way,
Absolutely right.
today I am subscribed to a channel called like something science, crap science. No, science. It's supposedly an official science channel. and it had like a video on chickens. And it usually is like some fun, and I don't know why. I was so bored, and I pressed play to watch that 5 minute long video on chickens. And it said how chickens have descended from dinosaurs. But she just threw it there, like, respect them as they are like the previous T-Rex. I gave her a comment that don't be retarded, people. Like, stop paying attention to people telling you that T-Rex evolved into soup animal. Like, what an evolution there. And that is happening mostly in the far west, which is the US, and then the westish side of Europe, but not in Greece. And that's enough to convince the rest, It's too many people.
Yeah. And the really well informed people don't want anything to do with politics anymore because they're smart.
I remember your discussion with Brett the other day.
Mm-hmm.
You asked him if he liked me after like the discussion we've had, and he said, "Oh yeah, but he doesn't like Trump much." And I'm like, "Is that all he got from our discussion, man?" Like, did he ask me if I like Biden? I could show him videos on Biden. I just showed him one on Trump. That's all.
Well,
I like
that's
no
why
one.
I dropped. That's why I dropped that big BOMB. That I also am not a huge fan.
Yeah, and the things you said, I agree. And then the things that Brett said, I also agree. He starts seeing, I don't know if he starts now, but he does see the hypocrisy behind him. Like, he pretends. And yeah, right now, like all over the Muslim world, and receiving bribes. We used to call them bribes in the past. Now we call them gifts, quote unquote,
I wish somebody would gift me, man.
a 400 million airplane. Yeah.
Ooh, that's quite the gift.
By the way, when I heard on the news, I was working on a PC. I'm building a PC for somebody, and I heard the news that when he went to Qatar, he got they got him. That's what I heard. They got him a horse escort, and I was like, this can't be what I thought it is, because I know Trump and escorts, but a horse escort? So I went back.
Oh my gosh, Achilles.
I went back to the monitor to see if I got that right, and it was like literally horse escort. I was like, okay.
Oh,
I
I
wouldn't be
cannot
surprised.
unpicture that. Thank you.
I mean, I would not be surprised.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
die with that engraved on my brain, Achilles.
Oh man.
All right, so hey, though, I have a dilemma. I need to step away for about 5 minutes so I can refill my water bottle. Should we just cut this show and hang out backstage, or do you want to entertain for 5 minutes?
Press play.
All
Okay,
right.
so the
You
excuse
may.
he's
Yeah.
talking. He's right now saying that the reason they cemented the area was that they needed to lift the trains. And I don't remember if the counter argument to this comes right after it, but just press play and go. I'll see you in a bit.
Τα βαγόνια των τρένων για να βρούμε ποιοι ήταν από κάτω. Ήταν το μόνο μας μέλημα εκείνη τη στιγμή.
Oh man, the text is not, and I don't have rights. But the wagons were not there when they did that. They had already been lifted, as you can see in the picture. So they cleared up the whole area, cause.
Ποιο μπάζωμα, ρωτώ εγώ. Το να ρίξεις χαλίκι για να σταθεροποιήσεις το έδαφος, να πάει ο γερανός να σηκώσει τα βαγόνια της αμαξοστοιχείας, όχι της εμπορικής, της επιβατικής. Της επιβατικής. Γι' αυτό έγινε. Ήταν μια επιχειρησιακή απόφαση. Εμείς ούτε καν το γνωρίζαμε αυτό.
I hope this loss of frames is only happening here and not on my video. As you can see, the cranes were fine. They didn't need the area to get cemented. They were lifting up the wagons, all right. So the police chief of the area denied to dig out the whole area. Now he's no longer a police chief. They moved him. So did the fire department. And then he says that it was an operational call, like the rescue guys, police, and the fire department make that decision. So an officer of the fire department was asked to sign a paper that says that they are done with the area. She refused and they threatened her.
Πάρθηκε μία απόφαση να σταθεροποιηθεί το έδαφος και να σηκωθούν τα μάτια. Επιχειρησιακά την πήραν οι άνθρωποι στο πεδίο.
Η πυροσβεστική.
Μα, κυρία Αναστασοπούλου, κοιτάξτε να δείτε. Επιχειρησιακά την πήραν οι άνθρωποι στο πεδίο.
Η πυροσβεστική.
Μα, κυρία Αναστασοπούλου, κοιτάξτε να δείτε. Όταν έχουμε μια παιδεία αυτή τη στιγμή.
Προσωπικά ήμουν στην Αλόνησο, όπου εκείνο το βράδυ είχα οργανώσει εκδήλωση με δεκάδες κατοίκους του νησιού. Το νησί ήμουν και την επόμενη ημέρα. Τα σημειώνω αυτά διότι έχουν ακουστεί πολλά ψέματα.
Κύριε Πρόεδρε, σας δηλώνω ότι ασκώ κατά άρθρων 104 του Κώδικα Ποινικής Δικονομίας το δικαίωμα σιωπής, επιφυλασσόμενος να παράσχω τις απαιτούμενες εξηγήσεις μου ενώπιον των δικαστικών αρχών όπου εκκρεμεί η παρούσα υπόθεση.
So this is a government policy that when you talk about a cover-up, they will pretend to be angry.
About what?
Here's how we know. I told you, man, this is a video that if you like lose a couple of minutes, it's hard to.
So you can't explain. I get it.
Yeah. And plus, it is not made for this layout, and a lot of text is hidden behind our avatars. And but let it play. Okay. Every time. This time he got asked who took the decision to cover up the area and cement it when there was a Okay, I'm on stage.
I don't know what happened.
Okay.
There we go.
So he got asked, why did you cement the area on the third day? And he said, I didn't take that decision. It was an operational decision. So I show on the video the things that came out at the time, that the police chief denied to cement the area, and he actually showed them the law that prohibits cementing a crime scene. And the fire department that forced an officer to sign an acquitting report, and when she denied, they threatened her with her job. So she wrote the report, but she didn't print it. And they got into her computer and they picked up the report and they gave it as a report signed by I don't know who. So those two things show that it wasn't an operational decision, because those that were running the operation, both parties had nothing to do with this cementing. So he pretended to be mad when he got asked about this question. And the narrative behind getting mad is that we had a tragedy taking place and you're actually worried for little things. We were worried for saving people. And this getting angry, it's not random. It is a policy that they have, because every member of the government that you talk about for a cover-up, they fire up immediately, and it's easy to see that it's due to policy. It's not due to emotion. So press play and see how they are telling their voters to do the same.
Okay.
Ο Άδωνης μας έχει δώσει σαφείς οδηγίες.
Θέλω στον Οδημοκράτη που με βλέπει να του πω, όταν θα σας λένε έκανε η κυβέρνηση το τάξη συγκάλυψη, να αντιδράτε με οργή, γιατί είναι προσβλητικό για την παράταξή μας.
Σωστός. Οργή. Το θεμέλιο της δημοκρατίας. Για πες εσύ τώρα τι θα έλεγες.
Θεωρούν ότι συμμετέχετε στη συγκάλυψη της αλήθειας.
Πω, το είπε. Λοιπόν, πάμε. Χαγκόκεν! Κράτα με λίγο. Προσβάλλεις την παράταξη, ρε! Έχουμε πει, όχι μανάδες, όχι παρατάξεις. Κάποια πράγματα είναι ιερά. Εντάξει, ευχαριστώ. Οργή! Ρε, Άδωνη, καλά το κάνω, γιατί νιώθω και λίγο καραγκιόζη εδώ να φωνάζω σαν τρελός.
Λοιπόν, πάρθηκε μια απόφαση να σταθεροποιηθεί το έδαφος για να σηκωθούν τα... την απόφαση, επιχειρησιακά την πήραν οι άνθρωποι στο πεδίο.
Η πυροσβεστική.
Μα, κυρία Αναστασοπούλου, κοιτάξτε να δείτε. Όταν έχουμε μια τραγωδία... Είχατε πάει στον τόπο του δυστυχήματος.
Και πρόσφατα.
Λοιπόν, το είδατε λοιπόν. Είδατε λοιπόν βαγόνια τα οποία ήταν διαλυμένα, με υποψίες ότι από κάτω μπορεί να υπήρχαν νεκροί και τα οποία πρέπει να σηκωθούν. Και οι άνθρωποι οι οποίοι χειριζόντουσαν το χώρο του ατυχήματος θεώρησαν ότι έπρεπε να σταθεροποιηθεί το έδαφος για να σηκώσει τα βαγόνια.
He's still president?
Yep. And if you skip at the end of this video, somebody tells him that you don't need to quit right now. It's too late now to quit. Okay, go back a bit. Go back. I'll tell you. Okay, leave it here. This is going to freak you out. Press play. And move the mouse so it's not in the screen. Hello? You haven't pressed
I had no idea I was muted, Achilles. Do you want me to turn the volume down on it so you can translate for us?
Well, the translation is what took me all this time, and it's the text on the screen. Just follow the text.
Okay, I'll push play.
Τέτοιες θεωρίες συνωμοσίας να αναπαράγονται με τόσο μεγάλη συστηματικότητα και να πρέπει εμείς να καλούμαστε να αποδείξουμε ότι είναι ανυπόστατες. Ο μόνος τρόπος που μπορώ να το κάνω δεν είναι να πείσω εσάς ή τους τηλεθεατές σας, γιατί μπορεί να μην μπορέσω να σου πείσω.
Επίσης, αυτός ο οποίος μπορεί να σου πει το τι έχει συμβεί είναι και ο ίδιος ο νεκρός. Όταν δεν έχει γίνει σωστή δουλειά στο πεδίο να μαζευτούν και να χαρτογραφηθούν τα θύματα, τα μέλη όπως βρέθηκαν, τι να λέμε.
Γιατί σίγουρα, δεν ξέρω πόσοι είναι, υπήρχαν άνθρωποι οι οποίοι πέθαναν στο τρένο, όχι ως αποτέλεσμα της σύγκρουσης. Το πώς είναι δεν θα το μάθουμε ποτέ. Το πώς είναι δεν θα το μάθουμε ποτέ.
Αναγράφεται η αιτία θανάτου, η οποία είναι πολλαπλές βαριές κακώσεις του σώματος, συμβατές αναφερόμενο ατυχήματος. Και μάλιστα η αιτία θανάτου δεν αναγράφεται για κάθε ένα ξεχωριστά από τα θύματα, αλλά συνολικά για όλους. Γιατί έγινε αυτό? Γιατί λένε οι πληροφορίες ότι ενώ ξεκίνησαν να πηγαίνουν στην αρχή για ένα-ένα για τα θύματα και να γράφουν αιτία θανάτου, πράγμα το οποίο είναι το φυσιολογικό. Έτσι. Γιατί κανείς δεν ξέρει αν όλοι
δεν έχουμε πόλεμο.
Ξαφνικά, λόγω φόρτου εργασίας, οι ιατροδικαστές στη Λάρισα ζητούν από το Υπουργείο να κάνουν ένα κοινό πόρισμα για όλους.
Στη Σερβία παραιτήθηκε ο Πρωθυπουργός. Δηλαδή βγήκε πόρισμα κοινό ότι όλοι στο τρένο πεθάνανε από την ίδια αιτία. Όχι ότι δηλαδή άλλοι κάηκαν, άλλοι από τη σύγκρουση. Κοινή ιατροδικαστική γνωμάτευση. Ούτε σε πόλεμο, ούτε πουθενά. Γιατί ακριβώς ξέρατε, και από ό,τι φαίνεται ξέρατε και από παλιά, ότι έχει γίνει τώρα.
Wait. Let play.
Oh, okay.
Το συγκεκριμένο η έκρηξη από το παράνομο φορτίο.
Πρέπει να αντιληφθούμε ότι κάποια στιγμή, την Πέμπτη ή την Παρασκευή, αμέσως μετά από το δυστύχημα, τι ήξεραν όλες οι αρχές και η κυβέρνηση? Ότι στο χώρο εκεί υπήρχαν θύματα τα οποία ήταν διαμελισμένα. Τα περισσότερα θύματα δεν είχαν βρεθεί ολόκληρα, που σημαίνει ότι είναι το πιο λογικό να υποθέσεις ότι μπορεί να υπάρχει κάτι το οποίο να μην το έχουμε βρει και μία τουλάχιστον αγνοούμενη. Και τι έκαναν? Τα μάζεψαν όλα και τα πέταξαν σε ένα χώρο ο οποίος ανήκει στο ΟΣΕ. Από εκεί μπροστά πέταξαν τα συντρίμμια, τα χώματα, τα αντικείμενα των ανθρώπων μας και ενδεχομένως και βιολογικό υλικό, που πλέον ξέρουμε ότι βρέθηκε. Αυτές είναι αποδείξεις οι οποίες θα μας έλεγαν το τι έχει συμβεί. Γιατί τα θύματα έχουν πάνω τους αποδείξεις το τι τους συνέβη. Εκεί είδαμε ότι δεν υπήρξε το κατάλληλο ενδιαφέρον, η κατάλληλη σπουδή, ώστε να γίνει μια σωστή ιατροδικαστική και ερευνητική δουλειά, όπως βλέπουμε στις ταινίες και φανταζόμαστε ότι πρέπει να γίνει σε ένα χώρο εγκλήματος. Σταματάω και τα μαζεύω όλα, καταγράφοντας τα πάντα με φωτογραφικό υλικό, με όλες τις πληροφορίες, κάνω όλες τις αναλύσεις που πρέπει να γίνουν. Αυτά τα πράγματα δεν έγιναν στα τέμπη και γι' αυτό δεν θα μάθουμε ποτέ όλη την αλήθεια. Ήταν ανικανότητα. Δηλαδή, οι άνθρωποι που κλήθηκαν να κάνουν αυτό δεν είναι ικανοί να φέρουν σε πέρας τη σωστή έρευνα σε ένα τέτοιο έγκλημα, σε ένα τέτοιο συμβάν τεραστίων διαστάσεων, ή υπήρχε κάποια σκοπιμότητα? Δεν ξέρω ποια είναι η απάντηση και δεν ξέρω ποια είναι η χειρότερη από τις δύο τις απαντήσεις. Γιατί δεν θα ήθελα να πιστεύω ότι ζούμε σε μια χώρα η οποία δεν έχει την ικανότητα να ερευνήσει σωστά μια τραγωδία.
Το πώς είναι δεν θα το μάθουμε ποτέ.
Είμαστε μέσα στον πυρήνα της τραγωδίας ακόμα.
Είμαστε στις 30-40 πρώτες μέρες και φαίνεται ο ανακριτής εκείνη την ώρα να στέλνει 2 έγγραφα στην τροχέα ώστε να ζητήσει από το νοσοκομείο να καταστραφούν τα φιαλίδια αίματος που έχουν ληφθεί για το δείγμα DNA που θα μπορούσαν να κρατηθούν για να γίνουν τοξικολογικές εξετάσεις αν κάποιος, να καταστραφούν στις 40 μέρες, πράγμα που δείχνει εντυπωσιακή σπουδή. Συνήθως, όπως λένε, αστυνομικοί κρατούνται 6 μήνες, 7 μήνες, μήπως το
θέλω να το καταλάβετε αυτό γιατί είναι βασικό.
Δεν υπάρχει πουθενά.
Ο ανακριτής που ασκεί ποινικές διαγωγές την πρώτη μέρα του μπανικό του, μετά από 40 μέρες στέλνει 2 έγγραφα να καταστραφούν τα φιαλίδια αίματος που ήταν γενετικό υλικό. Πήρε ο ανακριτής και είπε να πετάξουν το γενετικό υλικό. Δεν το χρειάζονται. Γιατί αν γινόταν οι τοξικολογικές, θα βρίσκανε τι ήτανε. Άρα το ξέρανε. Εντάξει τον πάσαμα, για να μπουν οι γερανοί. Δεν είχαν άλλα φιαλίδια στο νοσοκομείο να βάλουν το αίμα άλλων ανθρώπων. Τους τελειώσαν τα φιαλίδια. Ή επειδή ακριβώς ξέρατε ότι οι τοξικολογικές εξετάσεις θα δείξουν αυτό που ακούσαμε 2 χρόνια μετά από το παιδί στο 112. Γιατί σας είπαμε, οι νεκροί μιλάνε. Μιλάνε πάντα. Επειδή ξέρατε λοιπόν ότι ο θάνατος προκλήθηκε από μη οξυγόνο, δεν έχω οξυγόνο, διατάχθηκε το νοσοκομείο να σπάσει τα φιαλίδια. Δεν έχει γίνει αυτό στην ιστορία του οποιοδήποτε τόπου, οποιασδήποτε ιστορία.
You can pause.
Okay.
Let's call this a teaser. And this was just like 5 minutes of a 1 hour and 35-minute video, which is 1 part out of 3. So whoever is interested to find out what happened, who did it, what they've tried doing to hide it, everything I could gather, because the thing is, if you mention this word, oh, am I on stage?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Now I am too, because I can see me, because if I wasn't, I would repeat. But I just don't want to, talk in the void. Lost the train of thought. Okay, if you tell any Greek about this accident, they know all these things. This is why we rioted. The reason I made this video is that people outside of Greece will know these things too. Like, who would come to you and tell you that they ordered the destruction of the blood vials from the hospital? Who would tell you, who would translate what he said and how that's contradicted from the police and the fire department reports? And these are just 5 minutes. It's absurd. It is absurd.
I know it's emotional also because it's still kind of fresh, right? It didn't happen but what, 2 years ago?
Yeah, but it's not. They are using this as an argument. They're saying that, oh, the country is still not over it. That's why they're still not letting go. No, that's not the case. We will let go when we see people go to jail. When somebody explains to us what was this explosion. Because we have a lot of footage from the passenger train going through stations that have CCTV cameras, and there is no footage of the cargo train. Every cargo train on the earth, when it's being loaded under cameras. So we can see, in case of an accident, what was loaded on the train, not this cargo train. So there was something on the train, and it caused the explosion that killed people, and they were all children, and we will not let go until justice gets served. Even the parents are not driven by, okay, the parents of course are, but the rest of the country is not driven by emotion about this. It is
go to jail. Like, finally see some justice. If we don't see justice, we will keep doing it. And my part was to translate. Others do other stuff. Others are lawyers, others are reporters. You know, I'm not a reporter, but I can translate. So I'm doing
You've
that.
done a lot of reporting, though. Wouldn't you agree?
I've said a couple of things about that in this video and in the first one that I made, that if you want to see like a report, you should go to a reporter, because I'm adding my view and how that whole thing relates to the coming of the Antichrist. Because I want those who think that, oh, this just happened because they were carrying illegal cargo and they didn't want us to know it. I want them to know that it happened on the 666th meter away from a very specific monument of the previous tragedy, at the area where it has some mythological meaning and they are pagans. So you cannot call me a reporter because I'm adding an opinion. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm somewhat reporting it for those that have no idea about it, but those that have an idea about it, I'm trying to tell them that your idea is wrong. It's worse than that. They murdered those children. It was a sacrifice. So I don't know. You can call it reporting from the Christian perspective, but I don't know. It's not your average reporter. Let's settle there.
Do you think they'll ever pay?
Oh, yesterday something happened, and I turned to somebody and said, you know what, man? Somebody, we have a serial killer of animals in the country. He's chopping heads off of animals and throwing them on the street, cats and dogs. And I was watching that report with somebody, and I turned to him and said, you know what? From the day I realized that Christianity is true, I no longer care for justice on the earth. I mean, God sees him. God is right there when he is cutting that head off that cat. And that's the justice I'm looking for. I have never, in any video that I've made, have I told anyone, let's do this to bring justice. I'm only pointing a finger to the proof of God's existence, because that is all the justice that we should need. There is a God. I mean, yeah, we'd love you not to go to hell, but if you're going, you know, it's real, it exists. So what can we do more? Put him in jail? Oh, God's gonna take care of that. It's gonna be a burning jail.
You know, I think we're going to have to do some episodes here soon on the doctrine of hell and the length of hell.
Opinions vary, right? On how long it is. And I know one thing. I know our God is a just God. And if somebody deserves eternal punishment, it will be eternal punishment. There might be some souls that the destruction of the soul would be too easy. They need to be tormented forever. So, you know, I don't want to be like, oh, it is this or it is that. I leave this to God. Like there is not going to be a judge more just than God. So killing 57 children on purpose, you need a special place. You need a really special place.
I don't think anyone disagrees with that.
But I know the disagreement. It has to do with other verses talking about burning eternally, and then the book of Revelation kind of talks about the second death, which is the destruction of the soul. It clearly states it, and it has created confusion, and there are so many subjects that are so far beyond our understanding that I don't rush to understand them. I trust God, and I'll get it then. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. I think on some things we have to do that because there are different topics where, let's be honest, if the doctrine was as cut and dry as we like to think, then we wouldn't be having these debates.
We have a pope in the room.
Yeah.
Oh,
and,
Claudius. I know who that pope is.
I'm going to try to put him on stage, but it's going to be ugly for a minute, guys, because I'm working on something. So, Claude, you should be able to hear us.
Yes.
So,
Hello, your Highness.
Bless
Pope
you.
now?
Bless everybody.
Are you a pope?
Well, I've appointed myself. I had an election and I won.
May I ask who you ran against?
Just myself.
So you lost too.
Well,
You also lost.
yeah, that's a good point.
All right.
I actually like the Pope brothers. I don't know if you've seen the Pope's brothers interview. They're very down to earth, very funny.
What is that? A series?
Yeah, no. The Pope has got two living brothers, and like they're very excited that he's become the Pope, and they've been interviewed on television and in America, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's Rob!" It's like it's very like heartwarming, actually.
It's a scam, Claude. It's a scam.
It is.
I know you don't approve of popes, and I'm an atheist, so I don't. But I just think, as far as that goes, I think it was quite good.
I think an atheist is going to be better off than a pope, because, well, atheists also do kind of see themselves as the authority, just as the pope does. So I don't know. Tricky.
Oh no, I could argue with that.
I mean, honestly, though, do you think this pope will be any different than the others, though, Claude?
Well, who knows, really? At least he's got I mean, the others, they're all quite intelligent people. I do admire their ability. Like, he speaks, 5, 6 languages? It's quite incredible, really. And especially for an American pope.
Is it going to convince you to give your life to the Lord?
No.
We can't count you in yet?
No, you can't.
Even if you turn Catholic, we're satisfied.
I don't know if I can agree with that. Can we discuss that first, Claude? Me and him
we all start someplace, you know. It's okay. He can then go debate Daniel on Catholicism versus Orthodoxy, you know. So I'll be interested.
I heard Mr. Friel earlier. He has an unusual way of speaking.
I like the way he speaks, though, because it does get your attention.
Who's that?
Even though it's peculiar.
It's very peculiar. I tell you, I can recommend you go and look up Todd Friel and Christopher Hitchens' What If. They play a game called What If. It's very good. You'll quite enjoy it. But not now. Look it up. Todd Friel, Christopher. You know, Christopher Hitchens was the famous.
I wish I didn't. It's a
Yeah.
torture watching him.
Yeah, but well, he certainly gives Mr. Friel a bit of an interesting run around. It's very good. Either way, I think you'll enjoy it. You know, it's all quite good.
Well, are you going to be meeting us at the Ark?
I'm thinking of, but it's a long way for me to come. But yeah, I would like to go.
I totally think you should come, Claude. We can get a
Oh.
picture together.
Yes, and you know, I can meet Mr. Hoven, because I've always wanted to do. You know.
Hey, I'm going to get a picture with Big Bad Mama. I'm going to get a picture with Aaron Raw. I'm going to get a picture with Robin.
Yeah.
I'm going to get 2 pictures with Robin.
Ah. What is the nearest airport? Like big one.
Well, we have the United States. We have a really large parking lot. I think they call themselves Canada. So anywhere, anywhere there, you can feel free to park. And then once you get to the states, I would think Louisville maybe would be the
Yes,
the biggest one to Kentucky. Maybe I could be totally wrong.
Is it going to be July?
Yes, July 6th.
All right.
It's coming. It's close.
Yes.
You better book.
Yeah, if you want, you can get a hold of Joe from Kentucky Atheist, and they're getting some kind of group rate special on hotel rooms, and you can save a lot more if you go through Joe because they're trying to promote it as the big protest.
All right. Now, there are some flights to Louisville, as you say. You can go with Qatar, an American. Oh,
Well, it was named after King Louis.
Qatar is going to give you.
That.
Maybe I can get a ride on the aeroplane Qatar is going to give to Mr. Trump, and not pay.
You know that I already, Claude, we don't agree on much, but I am no strong supporter of President Trump, and I've said this publicly. But this definitely has the guise of a payment, right?
Yeah.
Like, am I alone? It looks like a bribe.
There's something unusual. The funny thing for me was a number of Americans were saying, "Well, we want an American plane." They forgot that, of course, it's a Boeing is American plane. No, we don't. I guess they must have thought it was an Airbus or something, which is a European one. No.
Well, it won't be American for long if the tariffs don't break.
Right?
Yeah, if you go to the US, don't take a Boeing. Choose another plane.
I don't even know what to tell you a good one is. I would suggest you take a boat, Claude. That's how I would travel to Europe.
Yeah. I think that the 777 Boeing is tried and true. Yeah.
I mean, they might all be fine, but here's the thing. If you happen to get that one that is not safe, you are really high up in the sky, brother.
Yeah. And I don't want to give Dan cause to dance. He loves dancing about these things. So I don't want to give him a chance to do that. Yeah. Claude's plane. Oh.
So, how many people are going to be debating Kent while he's there? Are you going to set up a debate while he's there?
I suppose. I don't know if he'd really be interested. Yeah, I won't. I've only got certain specialty topics which he might not want, so I won't mention them here. But I'm not really an evolution debater.
Is there any points of your religion that you could articulate in a debate or discussion?
Well, I would argue that it isn't a religion. Yes, I could articulate that, but just using a dictionary. Yes.
Well, we can go back and forth and explain yet again that it is a religion because you have a lot of faith in it, but we can't be doing that every time we meet.
No. Well, the big thing that misses out on is a God, and that's a fairly key part of a religion, at least of most.
Well, no, we still have a God, which is time. It's like the more there is time, the more it's possible. And if it doesn't make sense, you just add a little more time, and then it does. So,
Well, I suppose time is something we do have because we know how old the universe is within a few 100,000 years. Yeah.
oh, the universe is no. Now we're going into new levels of
Well,
faith.
we don't, that's the, what do you call it, that multiverse thing. It's far
Right.
from, this far from, proven. It's an idea, a concept. To me, it
Right.
doesn't really matter because I always think this is the way the simple Claude thinks of it. Okay, so you come to the end of space. What is there? A brick wall? No, there's just more space. So I think it does go on forever.
They have comebacks. They have comebacks. They'll say, "Oh, you have to go through a wormhole."
Oh, that's if you want to try and travel. I mean, we can't travel faster than the speed of light.
Hey, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Mr. Brett Keane is here in the house. He's here to say hello.
I've been a bit mean to him, so you might not want to speak to him.
Have you been, Claude?
This
is why we can't have nice things.
Have you been naughty, Claude?
Oh, well, I've been getting a lot of views, put it that way.
Yeah, anybody puts my name in their title somehow gives them some kind of taste of relevancy, but it's all good. Hey, Steven. Hey, Hart. What's up?
Hey, what's up? What's up, brother? All good.
Hello, Mr. Brett Keane, God TV Radio.
I do appreciate Atheist making all these videos about me. It advertises my CDs and my book and all that. I appreciate it.
That's good. So sales are going quite well, are they? That's good.
Pope Claudius, you mentioned that we know exactly how old the universe is, even down to, like you said, a few 100,000 years. Is that fair? Okay. Yes. But didn't we just recently change the consensus like 2 or 3 years ago from 7 billion to now, what is it, 20 or 40 billion?
No, it's about 13 to 14 billion, and that's been that way for a long time. Yeah.
For how long is a long time?
I'll have to check it out, but it's not like as we've got to know more and as we've got more powerful ways of searching the universe, that's how we've come to that. Like before the year around about, was it 2000? I think they thought you were right. They thought it was between 7 and 20. Now they say it's that 13 to 40, 13.7 exactly. But there's an uncertainty because of this cosmic microwave background.
I don't know if you ever visit science.com, because Stephen will tell you I have an admiration for science, love talking about it, but they're actually thinking about quadrupling the number to 40 billion years old. That's what they're claiming the universe. They may be changing, and that the Earth might actually be billions of years older as well as the universe. I know the young Earth creationists out there go, oh boy, we got to blow the dust off this stuff again and slap these people around, but that's what they're claiming.
Well, I've not heard of that one yet.
Every time they run out of arguments, Brother Brett, they just add more time. And now quadrupling the time, that means they lost it. They've lost it completely.
Well, Hart. It takes billions of years for a hamster to turn into a flying frog. It takes time for that kind of stuff.
I know.
I'll get you guys a link, though, to show you about the 40 billion year thing so you know I'm not pulling your legs.
Why can't I just get it? I don't know, man. I don't know. Might be dumb. I don't know. I'm still struggling to see how a T-Rex can evolve into something we can catch and eat, and what form of an evolution that is.
Well, you've had KFC, obviously, or Kentucky Fried Chicken, so you've had a few T-Rexes in your time, I'm sure.
Yep, yep.
Aha! I've discovered it. Okay, so they still say it's around that 13.7, 13.8 billion years, but they're saying, you can see stars 46.1 billion light years away, and the reason for that is that the universe is constantly expanding, and it's actually expanding at a faster rate. It's the opposite of what you normally think.
Well,
So
if
that's
you
how
check
you
out
can see.
Astronomy Magazine, it says 46 billion years, and also
Yes.
space.com.
But
I
it doesn't
hear
say
you.
the
I understand.
universe is that age, though, does it, Brett? It says that you can see stars that distance away because of what I've just mentioned, the expansion of the universe. Is that right?
So you think the universe expanded to the point where now stars are stretched out 46 billion years
That's what
away?
they're saying, yes.
All right, I guess that would work. If the universe is 13.6 or 5 billion years old, sure, it makes sense mathematically. The star is somehow 46 billion years away. I mean, I'm not great at math, ladies and gentlemen, but that sounds kind of fishy.
Well, I'm not a brilliant mathematician either, so I don't know the finer points. But I know that's the difference. They're saying that and there's explanations of it.
So you looked it up in 1 minute, and that's what you came up with. Let me get you a video of a scientist actually talking about it. Here we go. Let's let me throw. Do you want me to throw this in the main comments or in the private chat, Stephen? I'll tell you what, Stephen.
You can throw it in the both.
All right, I'll put it out here for people if they want to look at it. Here's a actual YouTube video of some scientists talking about it. There. Oh, it put a big old long Bing thing. Hopefully that'll redirect you to it. Sorry about that, people. I don't know why this surprises anybody. The age of the universe has changed repeatedly in the perspectives and minds of scientists. Why would this shock you? There's some atheists who still believe we live in a flat state universe where it goes on forever.
Well, of course, science does discover new things, and as it does, it's prepared to adjust its thinking, which is quite a good thing.
I hear you. Are you
And,
one? Are you?
my biggest sort of thing with evolution is that that when Darwin came up with that theory, and he was the first to write it down, others could, that all the scientific discoveries then have sort of supported it. And if you go to real scientists, one of my heroes is Francis Collins. He mapped the human genome. Think about that. And he's a Christian actually too, and he says that the evidence for evolution is overwhelming, and then he goes on to list it. So,
All right.
do take notice of those people. I can recommend you look. And he also gives an explanation of why it can't be intelligent design, and I think that's an important thing.
Well, if there's an overabundance for evidence of evolution, then what is your evidence that humans are related to fish?
Well, that is the thing. So it started, with amoeba, I guess, and then it got more complicated, and then eventually fish formed, and then eventually fish turned into other things. Look at a fish's face. Actually, you can actually see a bit
You
of
look like a fish.
Yeah.
There's billions of different fish in the sea. Which one do you specifically think looks like you? And I feel for you if you actually look like a fish.
And, looking like is probably not a particularly scientific way of describing it. So I'm probably going down a rabbit hole. But
No, Claude. Actually, you are right on to something because you're gonna. No, for real, guys, be respectful. You're gonna freak out, Claude. But I was fishing one time with my dad. My dad was an excellent fisherman, and he pulled in this massive bass one time at a lake that was not too far from home. And when we pulled the bass out of the water, you could see that it had like the identical face of other basses. Looked nothing like a human.
That's scary stuff there, Stephen. Did you freak out? Did you get triggered?
No, I was expecting it. The same with farmers. They breed cows, they expect to get cows. It would be actually alarming if they didn't get those results.
Well, as they say, a dogma always turns into a dogma. Yeah.
So you admit, you confess that evolution for you is a religion. It's dogmatic.
No, no. I was only
I thought
joking.
that's what you were
It was
saying.
based on Kent saying dogs always produce dogs. So I've decided that dogmas always produce dogmas. You know, it's just it's one of
So
my.
why do you
human
believe that you came from a fish for? I understand all the wording that science is trying to use, but why do you believe that your ancestor was a fish? What evidence you have for that?
Well, just the billions of years that the universe has been in existence, allowing a series of minute changes from when life first started. And no, I can't tell you what sparked it off. We don't know that. And that each of these changes over the period of time, which I don't worship, but then little by little we emerge, and it's still happening today. You know, look at the way, if you want to go to our nearer ancestors, I guess you look at apes of different sorts, and then you come to humans, and then little by little every year humans tend to improve, except our eating habits aren't very good nowadays, so we'll probably go backwards a bit. Too much fast food. And then, probably in 1,000 years, you'd find humans today a little bit different to what we are now. Yeah.
What do you think will be different? You think we'll become X-Men or something? I'll grow blades or something? Because that'd be awesome. You know what I've always wanted, Stephen? I've always wanted bat wings. I want to be able to stop wasting gas and the resources of the earth. I want to fly down to the gas station and get my vapor machine without wasting any fuel whatsoever.
In Greece, I think they've already figured it out. They've evolved ahead of us, right, Achilles?
They got bat wings?
Their cars can fly, so it saves gas.
What? Flying cars? I want a flying car.
Didn't they have Icarus? Icarus. Achilles can tell us about Icarus.
You're not pronouncing it right. I don't know what you're talking about. Eucharist, what?
Icarus, he was the son of an inventor, Daedalus. He flew too close to the sun on wings of wax feathers.
Icarus.
Icarus. Okay,
yes.
Icarus. Yeah.
Okay. We did. We just had to wax some feathers together because it doesn't happen on its own.
Yeah. So that almost, maybe that will come true one day. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen any changes, and it's I love how they tried getting the people to think that way with that movie with Kevin Costner, Waterworld.
Yeah.
That because the world was water, he started evolving. How do you call those?
Yeah, Waterworld was harsh there, Mr. Hart. I remember Kevin Costner drinking his own pee. Not my kind of world I want to live in there, guy. Ugh.
He also developed gills, which is laughable.
Gills. Thank you, gills. I was trying to remember what they're called. Yes,
well,
gills.
guys, I went through a little bit of an adaptation myself. When I was a kid, I hated broccoli. Now I love it. I don't know what it is. Do you think I'm going to turn into some kind of weird whale monkey monster or something there?
No, but broccoli is good for you. It's good. It's good for you.
Isn't it true, honey? My wife's in here. I used to hate broccoli, but I love it now. Oh, yeah. I love you, baby. And
We don't eat enough vegetables, This is the problem. So that's going to help. It's going to be good.
Claude, can I ask you a question?
Yes, I only eat mac and cheese, right, Stephen? Mac and cheese, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can have that as long as you have broccoli with it. Then that's good.
Let me play this minute, guys. Let me play this video. It's 33 seconds. This is the one you sent me, Brett.
What if the universe is older than we think? Recent studies suggest the cosmos might be 26.7 billion years old, not 13.8 billion as previously believed. This controversial theory arises from the observation of distant galaxies that appear larger and more developed. Such observations challenge the limits of the Big Bang theory and could redefine cosmic history. If true, everything we thought we knew about time, space, and evolution of the universe might be wrong. So is the universe twice as old as we believe? Or is it hiding secrets we can't yet?
26. I was going for 40. What's up with that? Now, there's videos that actually have the title 40 billion on them and all that. You guys can look at it when you want to. Have you heard of the recycling theory of the universe there, Stephen?
I've never heard of it. What's that?
It's believed that there may have been a universe prior and before that, and then it went through some kind of state of crunch, either a heat death or what they call a cold death, or retracted itself, and then all the energy split out again, and then recreated the universe over and over and over again. These are some of the theories that they throw out there. I don't know if there's obviously any truth behind it. We still ain't figured out the one we're in.
Yeah, it's kind of the same problem atheists have, though, with like the Big Bang. Now they've moved from the one Big Bang to maybe a bunch of miniature dwarf bangs, and all they do is kind of kick the can further down the road, but they still can't give us a defined answer for what started it all.
You know, you and I, Stephen, we were talking to Atheist Junior about multiverses. I am surprised that there aren't more atheists out there who suggest that. If you believe that a universe can just blow up out of nothingness and come into existence, then why couldn't that happen 100 billion times or more? You know, I don't understand why atheists don't jump on that bandwagon.
We don't seek to just jump on any bandwagon. You know, there's no desire from an atheist to, for example, I mean, a lot of people say, oh, they want to sin or they want to hate God, or that's rubbish. We just don't see the evidence.
No, I don't mean it like that. I get where you're going and understand how you'd interpret what I said like that. But if you believe it's possible that a universe with barely anything in it, like a pin needle of energy, can form such an expansive universe, then why wouldn't you believe there's more out there, including dimensions?
Oh yes, well, yeah, it's possible. I haven't seen anything to show for sure, but it's possible. There's a wide limit. There's limitless possibilities in a way, especially if it's infinite. You know.
Well, you didn't observe abiogenesis or the Big Bang and the explosion of the singularity, but you believe in that, right?
Well, we can go back to within, what is it, 200,000 or 300,000 years of the Big Bang. So, and then we get the cosmic microwave background prevents you actually seeing it. So we know that it did happen. Abiogenesis, we know it happened because it happened. That's why we're here. But we don't know how. You know.
Well, then there shouldn't be no argument from theists or atheists or anybody about the universe.
Yeah. There's no God either. There's no evidence.
There's
no evidence for abiogenesis.
Claude, creationists too believe in abiogenesis.
They just think God did it, yeah.
Yeah, because if you break down the word, it's three words. A, which is negating, just as we say atheist, right? It's negating the rest. Bio and Genesis. So Genesis, not from bio.
Right.
We just say God did it, and you say it did it itself without like any direction. So we believe in the same abiogenesis, but not the same, but the word at least.
Yeah.
So we're not that different. We just see that there is some order. Chaos cannot create that from nothing. Chaos would intervene with it happening.
But our biogenesis could beat yours up.
Mr. Hart, have we ever observed spontaneous generation in science or through human condition or observation?
Yeah, I'd ask Claude, because if you ask me, I'd say no, we haven't. We don't. We don't
No,
see it
I
happen.
mean they've had those Miller-Urey things where they've tried to combine various chemicals to see if it suddenly produces life, which of course it hasn't. No,
And if
but
it does,
Hmm.
at some day, that would prove that it takes somebody to put them together for it to happen. It will prove a creator.
That
not
is an
really.
unfortunate drawback of putting the conditions together and variables to actually create an experiment to do that. Even if scientists manage to do that, Mr. Hart is absolutely correct. That would mean it would take an intelligent mind in order to assist in the guidance of the condition or conclusion. Yeah.
Claude, the response?
Well, no, I can't tell you how life first started. That's and
So Brett was right. You
But-
believe it happened.
well, we know it happened.
We
What we
know
don't
it
know is
happened,
how it happened.
but we believe it happened by God, and we admit that we believe in it and it's faith. And you're saying you believe it didn't happen by God, it happened by itself, and you're saying that's science. It's not faith.
I'm saying I'm an atheist, which means I don't believe there's evidence that it happened by God.
And where is the evidence that it didn't happen by God?
Well, that's proving a negative. Where's the evidence that there aren't leprechauns? Where's the evidence there isn't a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow? I've tried to get there many times and haven't found it. But I haven't managed to
So
get to
you
the
are
end of the
admitting.
rainbow.
So you are admitting that the only reason you say it didn't happen by God is because you don't want it to have happened by God.
No,
Because
there's just
that,
no
that
evidence.
was your argument.
No, there's no evidence,
But there is no evidence for the contrary either.
Well, I think abiogenesis maybe not, but evolution, there's a heap of it. Once life
Okay,
started.
let me ask you a question.
Yes.
If you go back in civilization, in time, where did biology start? Which country?
Oh, I wouldn't know which it started in. China, perhaps. They've been very advanced.
Well, at least for the Western civilization, it did start in Greece.
Right.
Now, it wasn't called Greece at the time, but it was, here. So in this country, in biology books, on any level, from high school to university level, evolution is not getting taught in any books. Why would you think that is? Why would the country that supposedly talked about biology and gave the term biology, which is a Greek word, to the whole science, is not teaching evolution?
Really?
Yeah.
So I go to high school in Greece and I don't learn about evolution in biology class.
Yes, and I've brought up books, and I can bring them up again because I have them bookmarked, where it shows you lines of how the ancient fish were and how the modern fish are, how the ancient things were and how the modern one are, and there are no evolutionary trees that one relates to the other. There are no connection between the lines.
Not to distract anybody out there, but I've seen that people are having an issue getting in. Just click the damn link that's at the top of the comments that's pinned up by Steven, and you'll get in just fine. That's how I did it. If old Brett King can do it and he's slick enough, anybody can. Go ahead. Sorry to distract the conversation.
No, it's okay. I'll let the Pope give us his answer.
Well, I just find that amazing that they wouldn't be teaching evolution in Greece, except the only thing could be that the church doesn't want it and they have a lot more power in Greece than they do in other countries. Certainly it's taught in Europe. Yeah.
Well, at least I got some argument where kind of could make sense because that's what I wanted from you. Like, tell me how come? Like, how is this possible? So, okay, I guess that could be a possibility. But if it's science, religion is staying out of the scientific books. We have some clear separation of what science is, what religion is. So why would the church intervene to something that supposedly is scientific?
Well, they don't think that it's scientific, but I don't go to a clergyman to find out about science. I go to a scientist, and I do know the power of the Orthodox Church in Greece. People tend to, and you're not the same. I don't put you in with that lot, but there would be a lot of them there that would, whatever the church says, they go, yes. How much?
Claude, can I ask you something? You were
Yeah.
mentioning Darwin earlier. I don't
Yeah.
know if you're aware of this, but Darwin, in a book he had put together called The Descent of Man, he claimed that the only way evolution would work is if there was a guiding mind behind it that guided the process along. See, Darwin, I don't know why some non believers believe this, but they don't realize that he was a theist. He had some weird ideas, but he still believed there was a higher power behind the process of the biology and chemistry. Are you aware of this?
Well, I was aware he was the son of a clergyman, and he might have been one himself at some stage. I'm not sure, but he started that. He wrote, I guess, if you like, the theory. That's why they call it Darwinian evolution, to distinguish it from all other kinds of evolution. But that doesn't mean that since then we haven't come up with other discoveries that actually reaffirm his theory. In fact, we have. And DNA, the sequencing of the genome, all those things point to evolution for a common ancestor. So, yeah, whether he personally believed in a God or not is really beside the point.
Well, he did towards the end of his life start becoming a little bit more questioning and skeptical. He was also doing opium and seeing the ghost of his child that had passed away. So he was having some issues back
Yeah.
then. They didn't take him as seriously. I'd say Richard Dawkins, some of his looking at DNA and a lot of his material was far beyond Darwin, obviously, but he still hasn't been able to give a scientific argument on why God isn't compatible with the universe. I don't understand, if you don't mind me asking, why do you believe it's possible for life forms to come into existence, such as humans and the animal kingdom, throughout billions of years, but you can't believe that there's a mind, a superior mind to us that is ancient, that exists within the universe that had something to do with terraforming worlds? Why is that so difficult?
Well, there's nothing to base it on. It's just, as people, it seems that humans, particularly, tend to believe in supernatural things, and they might want to believe in a god. Originally people thought thunder and lightning was sort of the god was angry with them. I mean, we've come on from them since those times. We're not as superstitious as we used to be. There's some people still are. Some people believe in astrology. I don't. Some people believe in cards that can predict the future. It's just not right. It's
Well,
delusional.
let me ask you
My
this.
view.
Would you consider this evidence? Because I understand, I get the whole question, and then I think it's healthy for people to question. If Stephen and Hart were accused of something horrible, and a billion people claim that they witnessed them do that, would a good case be able to be made against them to see them as guilty in a court of law?
If they had that many witnesses, that would be a very strong case, but there would be other things that could come into it as well. For example, if they had an alibi, or if there was DNA evidence to show that they were at another place there. So, yeah. But
But if a
yes, it's
billion people claim that they observed Stephen and Hart doing something villainous or whatever like that, it's an excellent case. And if they
yes, it's a
don't
good.
have an alibi and a
Yeah.
billion people say that they were there, they seen it and all that, that could pretty much be 100% knockdown for them, right? That's
It could be.
evidence.
So, you are now going to go on and say something relevant to God. So,
Hey
what
guys, one second. I'm sorry, we have someone backstage, and I want to give them a chance to say hello because they don't have a a picture, and their name is just the letter R. So, what's up?
Hello, Mr. or Mrs. R. Are you flying an airplane?
Are you in a factory?
Okay, so we
Are
got
you,
someone who obviously doesn't know how to work technology. They obviously haven't been paying attention to science enough. Go ahead and put this person on mute until they figure out how things work. Goodness gracious. It's 2025. $5 for a microphone at Walmart, people. Come on. Come
right.
on. Me and Mr. Claude and Hard are trying to have a discussion here. Sheesh. Right, so back to what I was saying, you're absolutely right, Pope. That's exactly the direction I'm going in. Since the dawn of man, billions and trillions of people who have existed since the dawn of man have claimed that they have observed the higher power. They say that they have seen entities. People even wrote it down. They wrote books and all that. There are other religions that also accuse the universe of having higher powers or some kind of God and entity to it. Does that not shake you just a little bit to make you wonder why it is that almost a majority of the human race to this day holds to this thought process?
Well, no, because they have very varied descriptions of what this God is. Some people claim to talk to God. Some people say no, that they talk to God through some sort of holy scriptures. Oh, those scriptures could be the Bible. They could be the Hindu text. They could be Buddhist writings. They could be, in times gone by, Thor. I mean, there's just so many. So no, it doesn't. It doesn't tell me anything.
Why would you believe a handful of people? Atheism is still the minority in the world globally. Why would you believe them but not the billions out there? What is it that you think you know that the human race is missing here?
Science.
But there are there are tons of Christians out there that absolutely adore and love science. It's just they
Exactly,
feel
like like Francis Collins, who will tell you, that the evidence for evolution is overwhelming. He also believes in this God that I don't believe in, but that's fine.
And you said that the man who laid out the human genome was a Christian.
Yes, that's what he says. Yeah.
But then on the other argument, you're like, the reason I don't believe in a God is science. So don't you see the contradiction?
Well,
That
he is, what it means is I don't think he's 100% right. I mean, he's an expert on science, so I have no issue with that. Yeah, it's science. I don't take it a step further and think the rest.
What is your theory on the countless Christians throughout history who have contributed to science, as well as Jewish people and Islamic people? What is it inside of you that makes you think, why is it that these people did this in science, did great things, yet still believed in a God? Why do you think that's the case?
I don't know. I mean, Newton was one of them, wasn't he? But he also believed in alchemy. I mean, he wasn't right on everything, and yet he was, in some ways, the greatest scientist he sparked off physics, all that sort of thing. So yeah, not everybody can be right about everything. It still doesn't give me pause to think there's a God. But if suddenly there's a big bolt of lightning and someone in the cloud says, "Claude, you're a sinner," well, I might have second thoughts.
Oh, Hart and Pope, I'm glad you brought that up. And Stephen, you're going to probably find this fascinating too. You brought up Newton and the alchemy and all that. One of the things that he thought he could do was take metals and be able to break atoms apart and actually create gold out of it. Did you know that recently, within the last month, the scientists, I believe, of CARE are claiming that they have actually been able to manufacture gold out of steel and other metals? Do you know that?
I've never heard of it. It does sound like the definition of alchemy, because that's exactly what alchemy was all about. They were trying to create gold. So I would want to see the evidence, not hear a claim
Well,
from.
I'll get you some evidence of it. Hold on one second. You guys
Oh, not
continue
from
talking.
you. Not from you, not meaning that I don't believe you, is that
Oh, I know, Hart, but you know me. I'm the type of person that if I make a claim, I feel the need to back it up. So I'm going to mute my mic. I will get you the information so you can see it for yourself, all right?
yeah, go ahead. But my issue is with I've heard so many claims in the past decade from scientists that I've completely lost faith in what they do in the end. Like, of course, there is medicine and doctors. I'm fine with that, but I've heard so much crazy stuff, and
I
they're
got
not
you a
backing
link.
it up. Yeah.
I got you a link. I hear you. Scientists have said a lot of things that have been refuted and debunked throughout the time. I hear you. Here you
Yeah.
go. Here's the link right there. It's on MSN, if you even believe that news station. Scientists turn lead into gold for the first time. There you go. Check it out.
Definitely gonna check it out. Want to watch it? Like here?
Well, you can read it or briefly summarize. I wouldn't just take that as a source. Type in scientists figure out a way to make gold and it's all up. Or you can use Grok from X social
Okay, wait.
media.
You put it in the public comments. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, so everybody can play along and have some fun. Yes.
I can't copy it from here though, so I'm going to YouTube to pick it up.
Stephen, how long has this broadcast been going now?
We've been going for 2 hours and 16 minutes.
Goodness gracious, old man. Don't you get tired?
Well, once a year, we have our annual 24-hour stream, and this will be our third annual 24-hour stream coming up whenever we plan it. And then me and Achilles, dude, we've done 6, 7, 8-hour streams like they were nothing daily, back to back to back.
Goodness gracious, I admire that kind of fortitude. I used to be able to do some 7-hour shows. Nowadays, I'm lucky if I can get 15 minutes without getting a nap. Oof.
My
I'm going
brother.
to have to go, sorry. So I have to say goodbye, and I've got to do a blessing in the square. My role is Pope. So I'll see you guys another time, maybe.
It was nice talking to you. I hope to have a conversation with you in the future. I don't get offended by videos or anything like that, so do whatever you like. I'd love to talk to you in the future. Good talk.
Cheers,
Well,
then.
Keep it light.
You can't just leave. You have to find another atheist to take your spot. So if you want to exit, you better find a buddy.
Yeah, you got to have a lifeline.
They must be scared to come on.
Keep it light on the white smoke, huh?
I see they're asking for Robin to come on in the chat, so maybe she will come on.
I don't know if she will. She's been bashful lately. I have to harass her to get her to come in.
I love.
Okay, see you guys.
See you, Bob.
How come my God TV radio's cut off like that? Is there something wrong with the frame?
I don't think so.
Were you guys pulling my leg earlier when you were talking about flying cars in Greece? Is that true? You guys got flying vehicles now?
Oh man, Steven does that. Yeah, you're beginning to know him. Of course we don't. We wouldn't be here if we had flying cars. We would be the first to leave. We would fly them out to space and see what happens.
Have you guys ever discussed flying squirrels with atheists before? That's one of the most funnest conversations.
Oh, actually, that might be one animal we've never talked about with atheists. Thank you for bringing it up. What
Could
is
you imagine that? Could you imagine the squirrel, the first one, going, oh, I got these weird skin flaps. I think I'm going to leap 50 stories and see what happens. How many piles of dead squirrels did we get before they evolved proper, flaps to be able to glide? You know what I mean?
Man, imagine that. How many squirrel buddies would be under that tree?
See, Hart and Stephen, one of the things that our non-believer friends forget is supposedly these creatures took billions of years in order to evolve into the point they are. Well, during that time, there would have been millions of years in between where they would have been not transitioned correctly or I mean, you have to ask, did it have one flap at first and then another one came in? Or was there a piece of a flap? How did this work out? And when did the squirrels decide it was cool to jump off branches off to their death like that? I'm terrible, ain't I, Hart?
Give me a minute, I'm sorry.
Steven, you still alive? Have I put you asleep yet?
My dogs are going wild, but I think there's somebody outside, but I do think it's my sister, but give me a minute.
Oh, looks like Steven's vanishing on us too. Something's wrong. It says offline for him.
All right, I'm here now. And yes, what Brett just said, and not only that, but there are so many animals that